We're continuing on with the devotional on words, and today's devotional is called Just a Few. Last time we talked about fitting words from His mouth to our ears, and this time we're talking about how our words should be described when they exit our mouths. And the best place to find instruction on this is in the book of Ecclesiastes. Chapter 5, verse 2 says to let our words be few and not quick, not hasty, but thought out. I don't know how many times I've said something quickly only to wish I hadn't said it, but it's too late. Or there are times when the words I've said are too many and the listener grows weary and tunes out. So we're to keep them few. My mom's prayer all the time at the dinner table was, "Father, we're grateful," and that was it. It was short and to the point. In chapter 6, verse 11, it says, more the words, the less the meaning. I know I used to have the job of editing long stories and making them shorter when I worked for a company in Austin, and I rather enjoyed it. It made me look for specific adjectives, less fluff, and get to the point quicker. We remember phrases, but we don't remember long paragraphs. Chapter 9 and verse 17 talks about quiet words. It says quiet words are to be heeded more than the shouting of fools. Have you ever been in an argument with someone who starts shouting? It's a sure bet that the one listening starts humming or closing their ears or tuning that shouter out. Shouting words, but quiet words, open bruised hearts. Let me repeat that. Shouting wounds, but quiet words open bruised hearts. You see how even just that slip of the word that I just said made a whole different sentence. Shouting wounds, but quiet words open bruised hearts. A beautiful thing to watch is when a dad grabs a crying child and consoles him or her with quiet words that speak to their hurt, and watch as the child subsides their crying and moves in closely to dad's embrace. Then we read that wise people utter gracious words. We talked about that last time, how Jesus' words are enclosed with grace. Even instruction and rebuke can be housed in grace. After all, isn't that what any of us want? It's grace and mercy in our time of need. We all fail, and when a child disobeys and breaks that glass thing we told them not to touch, we might respond with a shout of anger, accusation, and a pointing finger, and lots of discourse on the follies of disobedience and how if they would just have listened. But at some point, grace has to be extended. And if we're quiet and try to think before we speak, we might gain a more obedient son or daughter than with the many words of shouting out loud. Nice words. This is indicated in chapter 10, verse 20, where it says not to revile a leader in your thoughts or curse another, even in the privacy of your bedroom. Who knows what bird might be lurking and carry what you say to the sky? Gossip is one of those things we tell our kids not to do, and yet we do it, even sometimes in front of them, about friends and family. Nice words always trump words of destruction, even if that person we're talking about is a snake. Thinking evil of someone and speaking it never brings about gold apples set in silver. So here we've talked about 4 kinds of words that are to exit our mouth. Few, quiet, gracious, and nice, or kind. We can't do this without the help of the one who speaks fitting words of truth, ones that we heed and listen to ourselves. When we trust that He cares and will bring down judgment on our accusers, then our words can be few because He will pronounce what is just. When we release our anger before speaking, laying down our frustrations, our words that roll off our tongues will be quiet and reassuring and affirming to those around us. Maybe words we wanted to shout, but now we have no need. When we've been extended grace and given thanks for the grace extended to us, it's not so hard to offer gracious words of forgiveness when we've been stepped on or crushed. Not because we're supposed to dismiss the wrong, but because we're to remember that we too have been wronged and forgiven. Gracious words roll off the tongues of those that remember His great love and how He loved us first. And when we live a life of few, quiet, and gracious words, we won't feel the need to even have the thoughts finding root in our minds that emerge in gossip or slander. They just won't even be there. When we know the one who righteously speaks fitting words that bring into judgment the accused, that would be the enemy of our souls, not the neighbor next door, we don't feel the need to justify ourselves with our words. We can stay quiet and still and speak softly and nice. Imagine a world full of fitly speaking of grace and wisdom spoken in kindness with very few words. I can't imagine it, but it sounds lovely.